Hello, welcome to Confidence Through Cabaret. My name is Heather.
And I'm Ryan.
Yes, you are. And this is Confidence with Coffee.
Woo!
What's your drink, Ryan?
Oh, where did I put my coffee? Oh my God, it's over there. Why do I keep doing this?
Yeah, this is like every week now.
Literally every week.
And
I always leave my coffee on the side.
Ryan.
I actually have a new one. It's really nice. And I can't remember the name of the brand or anything, but it's really nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I have my Starbucks mug and I have my Starbucks coffee and it's gone cold and I'm not going to drink it because, do you want to know why?
Why?
Because I am drinking water.
Love that for you.
Oh, I know. So first of all, because I have a whole kidney thing going on and they can't figure out what's going on. And then so I had blood tests and last week they said, we can't read your your kidney reading because you're not hydrated.
Right.
So please hydrate and repeat this in a month, which has now delayed me by a month, which is annoying.
Yeah.
And I still ignored that for a whole week.
Yeah.
Love
we
that.
get patterns, don't we?
I just don't want to. I don't know why in the winter. I just don't want to in the winter. And I like caffeine. But I was not told off, but I was reminded that caffeine doesn't help me sleep, which doesn't nourish my body, which doesn't allow me to liver to function properly and so on. And I'm just fully living on all the medication that I've been given, which is not a cool way to live when you can avoid it. So we had the wonderful
Eleanor Duelley.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And Eleanor was, so Eleanor's Facebook community is Clean Eating to Tame Inflammation.
Yeah.
And we had such an honor being able to spend some time with her. I mean, the podcast, it's up. Go check it out.
God,
Anywhere you get your podcast, Confidence Through Cabaret. It's longer than our usual one, and I'm not sorry.
No.
I've done it even longer.
Yeah, honestly, with that, okay, so there was a lot of takeaways from this one. It was really interesting because we were talking. The reason we talk about sort of drinking water and how coffee is affecting us is because, spoiler alert, we were talking to a nutrition expert. So Eleanor Duelley also runs Nourishing Nutrition. She is an amazing sort of holistic diet. Well, not diet is totally the wrong word, but holistic nutrition coach. And honestly, we knew we had the right person to talk to almost immediately because their whole thing as a sort of a specialist in this arena is the fact that this is not about following fad diets. This is not about paying into really toxic diet cultures or anything like that.
It's not even about weight loss.
Right, no, exactly. We weren't discussing really that at all. So it was just such an interesting podcast. And there are quite a lot of really great takeaways, but one of the things that I think we both really loved was the fact that they were talking about comparisons and how comparing ourselves to other people, especially our ideas of other people, can be super toxic for our own well-being, essentially. So we do have a clip. Shall we play the clip?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, let's play the clip. Just before we do that, though, I just want to say, actually, diet is the right word for this.
Right.
Because diet isn't like a diet is about weight loss or whatever it is you're doing, but diet is something we all have, right?
Yeah.
Like our diet is just, we all have a diet. We all, but it's not going on a diet.
Yeah.
It's addressing our diet and how we eat and how we use food.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this isn't diet culture. This is diet. Yeah, which is a very different thing. Yeah. Let's do it.
I used to look at people and go, oh my gosh, they must be so happy because they look like that. I did. And I stopped myself from doing it now, going, oh, she's got it all together. She's this or she's that. And I want that. And I stop myself now and go, I don't know anything about them. All I know is that if I'm projecting that judgment of myself on them, then I need to work on that. I need to work on being okay with how I look in a swimsuit, even though I don't look like supermodels. I'm a mom of 3 and, I have to be okay with that. And I'm really wrestling with that dichotomy of like healthy and how healthy looks to me.
Right.
So, you know, you have to give yourself grace, and the comparison-itis, there's no place for that. There's no place for that in any of the things we do in your body, in your world, and in your stage. There's no comparison. You bring the gifts that you've been given to share with the world, no matter what they look like.
Okay, thank you. That was wonderful. So, I mean, Eleanor here really kind of hit the nail on the head when we talk a lot about this, you know, the idea of how often we fall into a trap of comparing ourselves to others, and the fact that we often don't give ourselves the grace to have our own version and our own ideas of what healthy means to us, and how we can live a healthy, happy life without being, you know, sucked into that that process of, as she calls it, comparisonitis, which I just think is really interesting and really important, especially as, you know, as we go from, you know, January and February. Often this is when diet culture, and I'm talking about that particular diet culture, goes into high gear and makes, you know, starts to really work to make people feel as bad as they can about their bodies. And it exposes a lot about the way that whole industry works. But I think on a personal level, it's really easy to get caught in that cycle of, oh, that person, you know, they're doing so well and they look amazing and they do this. And we start to put our own limiting beliefs onto other people, or our own beliefs about what their limits are onto other people, and then we start holding ourselves up in this weird mirror that we've created as a result, and it's ultimately quite damaging.
It is, and you know, by definition, we're judging ourselves over judging others. And what I loved about talking with Eleanor is that she does admit and accept that recently she's recognized her own judgments. You know, we all do it, and I think you know, when we spoke to her initially, you know, most of the podcast is talking about reducing inflammation in our body, and really being able to tune into our body and what does it need, and where are we finding inflammation, and hence the water. And you know, and she's right, if you just drank more water, just increase your water for 2 weeks and see how you feel. And that's what we talk about in Confidence Through Cabaret. It's just little steps, you know, trying something else. Try it for a couple of weeks, see how you feel. If it feels better, then keep going and maybe try another thing as well. You know, just little steps adding to it. And I think, you know, so we started talking about that inflammation, right? And in our body. And then we got off onto this whole kind of piece about, you know, how our mind and our body connects. And then when we judge other people, because people say to me, oh, you're so lucky because you're thin. It's like, no, I first of all, I work damn hard. And second of all, I'm not comparing myself to other people, because everybody in my studio is, you know, significantly younger. Most of them are young enough to be my children. So the comparison doesn't solve anything. You know, when you start thinking about it, we compare ourselves in so many places.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, even in my aerial world, people will say, how long have you been doing it? Oh, 2 years. Oh, well, I was already here at 2 years, or I'm not there and I have 3 years. Or so why are you comparing? Your journey's your journey and mine's mine. And you don't know anything about my journey.
Really?
Or what my limitations are, or I don't know about yours. And I love that Eleanor is really honest about that. And particularly as a professional, that she's then sort of comparing herself. And you know, that clip is talking about how do I feel in my swimsuit or whatever it is. But that's just such an important message for feeling good in our body, world, and stage.
Absolutely. Oh, fully. I love that she that she brought that straight in. I think that it is a really interesting point that we do get stuck in that mindset. I mean, God, for years, you know, that's been something that I've definitely struggled with. You know, I think it's no secret that the gay scene can be extremely toxic for this. It's something that's been talked about hugely and is continually a problem. You know, there's a very specific idea of what it looks like and means to be certainly a gay male or a queer male, and there's a lot of body fascism that takes place in that. And it's, you know, over the years, I've very much struggled with that, and I still continue to struggle with that. and learning about myself and about how I feel comfortable and happy and healthy is definitely helping me adjust to that and to get into a much more healthy mindset, essentially, as to how I approach that. And then that makes me feel better about how I interpret my own body and about how I interpret then and work on things like diet, what works healthily for me, how can I be healthy in my body, as opposed to, you know, constantly comparing myself to other people, you know.
Yeah, and you know, I think Eleanor is one of those people that's very, you know, realistic and down to earth, and you know, it's funny, isn't it? Because she talks about not judging anybody else, you know, just but in her work, and then she's talking about her own self judgment, and I think you know we can all be guilty of that, and it is worth coming back to, and kind of by accident, but very much in line with what we were talking about. Emotional inflammation came up.
Oh, fully, yes.
I mean, that's my new favorite cause right now.
Right.
Because, you know, I shared about, you know, how I'm struggling to want to exercise right now, and and it's nothing to do with weight or size. It's just like movement. I feel achy. And then Eleanor and some of the other podcast guests have said this as well, but it's like, but it's winter and we're meant to let ourselves rest, and we're, you know, we're meant to kind of in a weird way hibernate a little bit and stay warm, and I think if we don't listen to our body, then we have all kinds of ailments. And as she says in the podcast, you know, if you don't have ailments right now, you will. If you don't listen to your body, it will inflame itself, or it will show itself in, you know, very unhealthy ways if you don't address it. And actually that's effectively what's happening for me right now. Is I'm not saying that water is my kidney issue, because we don't know what it is, but I know that my kidney will not be better if I dehydrate it.
Right.
And so I know that, and I've chosen to ignore it. And Eleanor is advocating all about, you know, we all have our own choices, but do I want to make that choice where I make things worse? No, not really. Not if you think about it that way. And so taking that step back and then looking at what's causing that is a really important part. And emotional inflammation is absolutely what's causing my physical inflammation.
Yeah, absolutely. I still, like, every time I hear that term emotional inflammation, I'm just like, work. Yeah, fully. And I think it was really poignant and really, I really connected with the fact that she admitted to the fact that this is a struggle for her as well, because a lot of people won't do that. A lot of people will say, you know, fake it till you make it, and so, you know, say this and this and this. And to be honest with the fact that this is something that she still works on, that is something that she can fall back on, that this is something that is not easy, and it is a journey, is exactly what we've been talking about the entire time with Confidence Through Cabaret. This has always been what we've been saying, you know, this is a journey, and it's small steps, you know, to take us to the right place, and to take us to the place that we need to be. And the fact that she's like, this is a journey of a lifetime, you know, this is something we do over the course of our lives. We find a ground that works for us, and sometimes we fall, sometimes we don't always show up in exactly the way we want to, but that's part of this. And learning that, understanding that, and as she said, showing yourself a bit of grace is really important. I've really enjoyed this podcast a lot.
Yeah, I did as well. And I think, you know, I think it, in the right circumstances, I would absolutely work with her.
Absolutely.
I just I felt like it was very good hands. And I think, you know, you go to professionals who will tell you how to be healthy in your body and won't understand that mind, body, spirit connection.
Absolutely.
Or will tell you, you know, this, eat these things, and then you're I'm not going to say stuck with them, but you're beholden to them forever, because, you know, you're relying on them for the supplements or whatever. And I think it is about educating yourself on how to look after yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's not something we're told. Like, we're not told. We get, so we're growing up, right, and we get our parents tell us what we need to eat, and then we form our connection to vegetables or not,
right,
in my case. And and then, and then we go off on our own, and then, maybe we have, housemates or partners or whatever, and we come into contact with other families, and they give us some ideas. There's an education about, in the UK we have 5 a day, and 3 veg, 2 fruit, and and it's supposed to actually be 7 a day, which is actually an underestimate to the 9 a day. It's just that they don't want to tell us 9. It is.
Oh, really?
It is. Yeah, it's because when I used to work with teenagers, that was the nutritionist thing was, it's actually supposed to be 9, but we're starting with 5 because we're going to do 9.
Wow.
Yeah, and there are a lot of things about, like, eat a rainbow and have all the things on your plate, and be aware and listen to your body and so on. But I don't think we really get the education about that. And it's almost like saying self-care is as easy as having a bath. It's not.
Yeah.
It's about, like, really tuning in, and that piece is the bit that we don't get the education on.
Yeah.
Like, what is your body telling you? Not your mind, not your ego, not your desires, but what is your body telling you? And it's entirely different to being on the scales or being in your clothes or some of the ego-based things. Just to remove the inflammation, you'll feel more energy, you'll feel more focus, you'll feel more flow, you'll feel better. And then if you want to do something like exercise or reduce calories or whatever, then that's a different thing. But it's, we talk a lot about body acceptance,
right? Yeah.
And this is that piece.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Oh, I really enjoyed this one. So if you're listening, if you're watching this along with us, please make sure you go and check out that podcast. It's on Confidence Through Cabaret, just on any podcast service. If you check out Podbean, that's where we mainly keep everything, but we're obviously on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're on any way that you can get your podcasts.
And we're on ConfidenceThroughCabaret.com, where our podcasts are posted, along with all of our video logs and video vodcasts.
Oh,
I know we have vlogs and vodcasts and blogs and podcasts, and I can't even say all the words. All of our content is on, or almost all of our content is on ConfidenceThroughCabaret.com. And if you make a profile, you can go in and check out the masterclasses. There's lots of masterclasses about feeling good in our body and moving our body and so on. Check out Alice Zaffer's podcast about moving our body. That's all of that. We're building a whole picture here, right? Each of these are beautiful puzzle pieces. Some of them have more information on them, like this particular podcast with Eleanor, right? So there's a little bit more. Maybe she's a corner piece, but all of them are about just feeling into our body and connecting with our mind and our spirit, and just feeling good and accepting and deserving and loving about ourselves.
Right. Absolutely. This was so much fun.
So we're on all the social media. Confidence Through Cabaret is the thing. Check it out on any of the social medias except for
Twitter. On Twitter, we are at YBYWYS. And on, I can never remember the name of this one. I'm terrible with this one. Clubhouse.
I'm starting at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Oh, God.
I'm starting hosting rooms. I am at Heather YBYWYS, all the 6 letters, which stand for
your body, your world, your stage. Thank you, everybody. Bye.